Okay, for your muscular endurance and muscular strength labs, you're going to be performing standing long jump, push-up test, plank test, and a 1 rep max bench test. Here we're not going to demonstrate the 1 rep max bench press test. Make sure you look at the assignment link so that you can see what entails in a 1 rep max bench, and you can perform that on a colleague or on your own or with a friend. You will be performing the standing long jump test, the plank test, and the push-up test, which we'll demonstrate today. And we're also going to demonstrate the hand grip dynamometer, which assesses muscular strength. You will not be performing the hand grip dynamometer since you do not have access to a hand grip dynamometer. Okay, so we have 2 hand grip dynamometers here. One, a little bit older model, and then the newer model, which is a little bit more efficient and gives a more accurate reading. So what you want your client or patient to do is hold the hand grip dynamometer, making sure that the second joint is on the force plate. Now, once you have the second joint on the force plate and you've adjusted it, you want to have her standing with her elbow bent at 90 degrees, and she's going to forcefully squeeze as hard as possible without holding her breath. Good. Nice and relaxed. Okay, once she's squeezed the force plate, you will get your pounds of pressure that her hand grip strength is, and that basically gives you her muscular strength. Now this is local to the hand, so other tests such as the 1 rep max bench press and 1 rep max squat test are a little bit better at assessing overall muscular strength. Okay, so now we're going to perform the standing long jump test. When you're doing your assessments and you're doing your testing, you want to make sure to do your most non-fatiguing tests first. So we did the hand grip dynamometer. Now we're going to be doing a standing long jump test. Then we're going to go into our endurance tests, such as the push-up test and the plank test. Okay? So the standing long jump test. Here we have a mat from Power Systems. Pretty good and accurate way to assess standing long jump. Another way you can do it is a tape measure and lay out a tape measure, tape it down, and have your athlete or your client or patient kind of jump through and perform the test. So before she jumps, you make sure that her feet are shoulder width apart and her feet come directly up to the line. And then she's going to explode from here and jump forward. And she's going to hip hinge, meaning that she's going to push her hips backwards, swing her arms to get momentum, and forcefully and powerfully jump. We're going to do 3 trials. You want to take the best of 3, and you want to make sure that she doesn't fall backwards or fall forwards. If she does, then that jump doesn't count. Okay? All right, ready? Yeah. Perfect. Nice jump. And when she lands, you want to make sure to measure her from her farthest back heel, and that's the measurement that you take. If you're using a tape measure, make sure that you have the tape measure right alongside where she jumped so that you can put your yardstick or any type of straight object straight across to measure along the tape measure to find out exactly where she landed. Okay, so this portion of the lab activity is going to be muscular endurance testing. For muscular endurance testing, there are several different ways we can do this. We can do push-up test, sit-up test, plank test, or we can do YMCA bench test, or we can do upper body ergometers and lower body bicycle ergometers. You guys will have to do the push-up test and the plank test on a friend, colleague, or yourself. So for the push-up test, we want to get into a good push-up position. So this is in essence a high plank position. So go on up into a high plank position. Okay, you'll notice that Natasha's got a nice straight line. For females, we want to have a modified position for the test. We want a nice straight line from the shoulders all the way down to the knees. For males, go ahead and raise on up again. We want a nice straight line all the way through to the ankles. Okay. Now, go ahead and modify. Natasha's a female, so we're going to be performing the push-up test in the modified position. So our hands and our elbows are going to be just outside of our shoulders, and we want to make sure that when we go down into the push-up, we go all the way down to our chest touches and our elbows come out at a 45-degree angle from her thoracic part of her body, or her thoracic region. In other words, it's a 45-degree angle of abduction. Okay, so go on down into a push-up and demonstrate and back up. Bring your elbows out just slightly a little bit more and go ahead and rock them out. So when you're doing the push-up endurance test, you want to make sure that your client or patient or athlete does the push-up test until they can no longer do the push-ups with correct form. So once form starts to break down or they give up, then that is your number that you have for the push-up endurance test. Okay, the plank endurance test is in a low plank position, not a high plank position as is seen in the push-up endurance test. So go ahead and get into a low plank position. Okay, now 2 ways to do a plank. You can kind of relax before we start. Drop your knees. So 2 ways that we can set up for the plank. One is we can have our elbows coming in, or another we can have our elbows coming straight out and forward, so our forearms are pointed forward. I like to use this technique so that they can utilize their triceps efficiently. Now our plank, we want to make sure that we activate every aspect of our core. Our core is quite a bit of musculature. Okay, we have core muscles here in the back, core muscles underneath and on the outsides. Okay, quadratus lumborum, erector spinae, multifidus. Our glutes are going to be activated. Our external obliques are going to be activated. Our internal obliques are going to be activated. Our rectus abdominis is going to be activated. Plus the muscles of our shoulders and our legs. Okay, so we want to be in full dorsiflexion here in the back. And we want to make sure that the plank and the body is very tight and in line. So come on up into a plank position. Okay, you notice she has a nice straight line from her shoulder all the way down. She's squeezing her glutes. She's activating her core, and she's going to hold this for as long as she can, and we record the time. As soon as she breaks form, fatigues, or fails, then that's the end of the test.